Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I'm pretty sure you are familiar with the Russian attack on Sumy, the city of Sumy. Right? Okay. So, what now? Well, the Ukrainians now, they switch the narrative, change the narrative. Remember, first when that attack occurred, and all we know for sure it was that a missile attack occurred, launched by the Russians with 2 Iskander missiles on Sumy, the city of Sumy. That's what we definitely know. Now is where the narratives break away. The first one. Remember, the Ukrainians said the Russians targeted the city center of Sumy, injuring just a terrorist attack on civilians. That was it. There was no military administration, no troops, no commanders, no gathering of any kind. It was just Ukrainians just minding their own business, and the terrorists across from the border destroyed them. That was a narrative. These guys took it, ran with it, and most of the world, that's what they know. It was just another Russian terrorist attack. Okay. And the next day, or yesterday actually, I made a video on the Ukrainians coming and saying, yeah, you know what? There is a colonel, a commander, that was killed by the missile, one of the missiles. Why? Because the Russians said, no, we didn't hit the civilian infrastructure. We hit the gathering of NATO and Ukrainian commanders over there, and we killed about 60 of them. The Ukrainians said, well, what's going on over here? And they came with that communique that one colonel, I made a video yesterday, right here. One colonel, his name is Yula, all right here, Mr. Yula, unfortunately was killed. And the Ukrainians said, no more information. Now we find out that the military, an officer, a commander was killed. Before it was only civilians, remember? Then they said, when the Russians said, no, we shot this gathering of NATO and Ukrainian commanders. Then they came, one commander is killed. I was like, okay, someone is lying here. I think the Russians are right here. Or at least they tell more of the truth. And then today, the Ukrainians changed the narrative. They added to the narrative, and they say this. This is a new euphemism. Remember, the initial report was that the Russians hit the city center, and that was it. Killing civilians only. Criminals. Remember, 100. Okay, how awful that was, or we don't know exactly who did it. If that is, we know the Iskanders went over there. I can't confirm that they hit the city center or the command center or the gathering of the generals. I can't. All I know is now the Ukrainians come and say, yes, it was a gathering. Indeed, it was a gathering, but not of the NATO commanders with the Ukrainian commanders. No. It was just a award ceremony. Sounds familiar? Well, for people who do not follow this daily, a few times a day, say, well, man, see, this is the first time when this... No, the Ukrainians came with the same thing a while ago when the Russians said, we destroyed a gathering of the commanders. The Ukrainians used the same thing. It was just a medal ceremony, a military. But somehow, one colonel died. And believe me, as I said, and don't have to believe me, wait. Patience is a virtue still. And I'm going to show you the article that would confirm what I said. Why? Because the narrative is changed, and they used it before. When the Russians are destroying, when the Russians claim they destroy a gathering of the commanders, mercenaries and all that, the Ukrainians come and say, no, it was just a training building where just cadets are training. Or it was just a ceremony, and they caught them over there, and oh my God, they were not, no. All right, let me show you. The new narrative, okay, added to the old one. Remember, before, start with this. Before, when they made the first communique, it was nothing, zero about the ceremony. Nothing. It was just those pictures and videos with those dead people on the concrete in the streets of a city or a settlement. Let's put this, I don't know if that's a city or not. I'm not talking about Sumy, because I have, my own things. Yeah. Woo. Russia Today, 15th of April. Zelensky fires official who contradicted Kiev's civilian missile strike narrative. Vladimir Atyuk have been dismissed following his claim he did not organize a military awards ceremony in Sumy targeted in a missile attack. Vladimir Zelensky's office announced on Tuesday that it has fired the head of Ukraine's Sumy Regional Military Administration, Vladimir Atyuk. The move follows this person's claim that he did not organize a military awards ceremony targeted in a Russian missile strike. So they tried to come with actually it was the award ceremony, and then the guy said, in charge of this ceremony, supposedly said, no, there was no ceremony here. So the Russians then hit what? Come up, make up your minds, and eventually they will say, yeah, it was a gathering, but no, it was just an award ceremony. And the guy said, no, there's no award ceremony. We said it was an award ceremony, that was the meeting, god damn it. Fire! You fired! All right. On Monday, the Russian Defense Ministry confirmed that it carried out a precision strike the previous day on a gathering of Ukrainian command staff in the border of city of Sumy. I will show you where that is. All right, let's go, and I want to make sure that this is over there. Good to go. All right, we're not going to show you Pokrovsk, I'm going to show you Sumy. So we're going to start from far away. Oh, this is Ukrainska, right? Ukraine with whatever it's over there still. Sumy is this oblast across from Kursk Oblast in Russia. This is the border. This is Belarus right here, the border with Belarus. So the city of Sumy is exactly and fantastically right here. Oh my God, where are you? Right here. This is Sumy. Well, this is the city of Sumy. Now this is, as I said, it's about 20 kilometers from the border right here. This is about 20 kilometers, about 10 miles or something like this, 12 miles or something. All right, here it is. Well, this is where they struck. And it says that 2 Iskander-M missiles were used in the attack on Sunday. It said, adding that over 60 senior Ukrainian servicemen were killed in the strike. The local Ukrainian authority have claimed that the attack targeted a military awards ceremony for the 11th 117th Territorial Defense Brigade. Officials reported that the strike resulted in 35 civilian deaths and 129 other injured. Got it? So from civilians, it got to this one as well, with a military awards ceremony. Several Ukrainian officials, including the mayor of Konotop, Artyom Semeniki, have since called for the prosecution of Artyuk, accusing him of being directly responsible for the casualties by, and I'm quoting, organizing an awards ceremony despite warnings not to do so. So now they say, yeah, it was a gathering, but hey, we're going to give you the euphemism here. I don't know what happened, but when you are at the receiving end and you try to get sponsorship to have more Patriot systems and more money poured in, you have to work on people's empathy. And how do you do that? Look, I'm the victim, Zelensky Stein says. Therefore, give us, look, that's a crime, that's a terrorist. Help civilians. If you don't, it's on you. That's how they did with Jesus Christ as well. Yeah, you're Jesus Christ. All right, let's move on. All right, so Artyuk has effectively confirmed that the ceremony took place on the day of the attack, but denied responsibility for the event, telling public broadcaster that he was invited but did not organize it. Nevertheless, Zelensky signed a decree on Tuesday removing Artyuk from his post. Got it? So, yeah, it was, but I didn't organize it. Moscow has stressed that it does not attack civilian infrastructure in Ukraine. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov stated that the Russian military only strikes military-related targets. Sometimes you make mistakes, don't you? All right, so this is, my friends, what it was now a military ceremony. And the guy said, I didn't organize anything. Well, you're fired. So, what do we know? We know that there were 2 Iskander missiles launched from Russia into Ukraine in the city of Sumy. Where exactly and what the damage is, I cannot confirm. What I can confirm, there were some victims. Why? Because I personally don't fall by someone showing me some pictures just like that. That's the first one. And the second one, when you have an interest You can do a lot of things. You can do a lot of things. You know what I mean? I can make a video outside in a woods and tell you that I'm in Kharkiv, in the vicinity of Kharkiv. You wouldn't know. That's just an example. Just an example. I'm not saying they lied, but on the other hand, when I strike towards you, right, in order to create empathy, right, when Russia strikes over there, let's say there are some other strikes in the same time, not coming from Russia, and then I pinpoint this shopping mall, I pinpoint this kindergarten, I pinpoint that, and the Russians, let's say, indeed hit the military targets, let's say. But in the same time, I'm focusing on the other targets that were hit by the Russians. Now, I'm not making conspiracy theories here. This is the war. People fake shit, make, how do you call that, accusations. They try to place the blame on others. False flag operations. These are part of a war. When it's a war, there's no morals. They tell you about the Geneva Convention. Do you think that when you are in the field over there, after, I know, 3 years of, shitting in a hole somewhere, and bombs around you and drones chasing you, you didn't see water to wash yourself in, 2 years or something? Your friends killed and so on. Those guys are shooting at you, and you, let's say, you encircle 3 enemies, and you're all hungry. Your girlfriend sent you a message or something. I broke up with you. I'm with Deshaun or Dwayne or whatever right now, and you're over there. Or something happens at home, and all this in your head, you're gonna capture these guys. What do you think? You're gonna say, everybody, to the platoon. Let's say you're in. Let me get the Geneva Convention booklet, and it says here that we have to treat them. Hey, what are you doing, man? I didn't order it. Do you think that's what's going to happen? They're going to be, oh, please, right here, this is an omelet. I'm going to make an omelet for you right now. You want hot sauce for it? No, I guarantee you that's not happening most of the time. I guarantee you that happens when people are, protected. But I guarantee you that these kind of things are. And they made up. And they say, no, it was not. The guy tried to pull a gun on us. Right, man? Right? We agree with that? Okay. Boom. He tried to shoot at us. And that goes not only one way, all way. If you think the Americans, remember the My Lai massacre in Vietnam? The whole village was razed. Villagers, an order, boom. And not only in the Second World War. Remember when those Germans were caught at the concentration camp? They were killed, put on by the Americans, put against the wall and massacred right there. Now you know what those guys at, how do you call it, the Ardennes offensive or counter-offensive or Ardennes, the Battle of the Bulge or so on. They caught those guys right on the spot. Well, there was a little problem over there. The Germans wore American uniforms, so. But you don't just kill them on the spot, do you? And so on. So, all right, my friends, here it is. People make shit. I don't know who did it and to the extent. And the Russians, maybe indeed they hit civilian infrastructure. Do I know that? Do you know that? All we know is what other people tell us. And they have interest. And some of them are very scared. Why? Do you think that this Artyuk, do you think that he's going to be okay after he's fired? Do you think his family is going to be okay? You don't know how the world is then. He's got a bullseye on his forehead. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.